Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry. And that really hits home, doesn't it? We spend so much time, so much energy training on how to make that perfect first impression, that perfect greeting. But honestly, it's often the closing that a guest remembers most vividly. A great closing, it's not just, saying goodbye. It's your last best chance to really lock in a positive experience, to build that loyalty, and to show what your hotel's reputation for excellence is all about. So let's think about this for a second. The closing, it's the final touch point of that whole interaction. And because it's the last thing that happens, it's often the most memorable part. When you really nail it, you're doing so much more than just ending a conversation. You're essentially confirming to the guest, yes, we've taken care of everything you needed, and that leaves them feeling completely satisfied, supported, and really confident in their choice to stay with you. And wow, look at the difference here. The stakes are really high, and this shows it perfectly. On one hand, you have that abrupt closing. You know the one? It makes a guest feel totally dismissed, leaves them feeling uncertain, and honestly, it just chips away at your brand's image. But then, look at the professional closing. It does the complete opposite. The guest feels valued, it builds their confidence in you, and it absolutely strengthens their loyalty. It really is a small moment, but the impact, it's huge. Okay, so the big question is, how do we make sure every closing is a great one? Well, it's not as complicated as you might think. It really comes down to three core pillars, kind of a foundation for excellence. Every single great call closing is built on these three things: confirmation, tone, and appreciation. So let's dive in and break down what each of those really means. All right, first up, confirmation. This one is so important. Before you even get to the goodbye part of the call, just pause. Take a quick moment to summarize the main points you talked about. It's a really simple step, but look at what it does. It makes everything crystal clear, it stops those frustrating repeat calls about the same exact issue, and, this is the crucial part, it gives the guest a final opportunity to ask any last-minute questions they might have. Next, let's talk about tone. Think about it. Your warmth and professionalism have to stay consistent from start to finish. You can't let it dip just because you're wrapping things up. Keeping that friendly, steady tone all the way through reassures the guests that their call was genuinely important to you, that it wasn't just another task on your to-do list. This is how you make sure no one ever feels rushed or dismissed, even if you're having a super busy day. And that brings us to our third pillar, appreciation. A simple, sincere thank you for calling can be incredibly powerful. It's a small thing, but it acknowledges that out of all their options, the guest chose to reach out to you. It reinforces that feeling of genuine hospitality. And listen, this is not just for the easy, happy calls. Expressing gratitude after handling a complaint, that can completely repair the emotional tone of the entire interaction. It shows immense respect. Okay, so we've got our foundation, right? Confirmation, tone, and appreciation. With those three pillars in mind, let's get a bit more practical. How do we actually use these ideas to manage guest expectations and make sure there's absolutely no confusion every single time? Now, this part is absolutely vital. If you need to do something after the call ends, you have to communicate the next steps clearly. And just as important, maybe even more so, is telling them when it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you're sending an email or talking to another department. Giving the guest a realistic time frame, that just gets rid of any uncertainty and builds trust in an instant. But what about when everything's taken care of right then and there? No follow-up needed. Well, the goal is exactly the same: end on a high note. This is where you offer future assistance. A simple, open invitation like, please don't hesitate to call us back if anything else comes to mind. That reinforces your commitment to them and makes the guest feel genuinely welcome to reach out, not like they're being a burden. This quote here really points out a common trap we can all fall into. We all have busy days, right? But a guest can feel it. Immediately feel it when you're trying to rush them off the phone. And they don't think, oh, they must be busy. They think, they're not interested in helping me. Just taking a few extra seconds to close the call gently, with some care, that creates a positive impression that sticks with them long after the call is over. And this level of professionalism has to extend to call transfers as well. It's not just about passing someone along. There's a right way to do it. First, you explain why they're being transferred. Second, you make sure the person they're being transferred to is actually ready for the call. And third, you stay on the line just long enough to make a warm introduction. That smooth handoff shows you really care. And hey, what if the call drops? It happens. Calling the guest back right away shows incredible reliability. You've just turned a frustrating moment into an example of fantastic service. All right, now I want to talk about something I consider the masterstroke. This is what separates service that's just good from hospitality that is truly exceptional, and that is professional follow-up. Please don't think of this as just another task on your list. It's a powerful, proactive tool for building real, lasting relationships. Think about it. When you tell a guest you're going to follow up, you're making a promise. You're making a commitment. And delivering on that promise, reliably and within the time frame you gave them, is one of the best ways to build and strengthen their trust in you. And the flip side is true too. If you fail to follow up, that trust can be broken in an instant. So what exactly makes a follow-up great? Well, a few key things. It's always prompt, right? Delivered when you said it would be. It's clear and concise, super easy to understand. It needs to have that same warm and professional tone you used on the phone. And finally, it has to have context. It should reference the initial conversation so the guest isn't left wondering, wait, what is this about? But here's the secret to going from great to absolutely unforgettable. It's about going beyond what's expected. It's about being proactive. Let's say a guest called and mentioned they were a little worried about arriving early. Now imagine how they'd feel if they got an email from you the day before they check in, just confirming that their room will be ready for them. That right there is how you create those wow moments, those truly memorable experiences. Okay, let's wrap this all up. As we've been talking about, those final moments of a conversation are so much more than just an ending. They're your big opportunity to solidify the entire interaction. The call closing isn't an afterthought. It's a powerful, strategic tool you can use to build real, lasting guest satisfaction and loyalty. I want you to remember one thing, just one number. It takes just one. One single, well-executed call closing to reinforce trust, to make sure everything is clear, and to leave a guest with that positive emotional impression that will literally define their experience with your brand. Just one. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to really think about as you move forward in your careers. Now that you have these tools, how are you going to consciously turn your very next phone call from just a simple transaction into the beginning of a genuine, lasting relationship?